faint glow in the distance. A faint glow in the distance. Don't be so bloody ridiculous.
Alright fellas, right. The beer is now at the point of dry hopping, which we're going to do. And to do the recipe correctly for the vacant, it's asking for 2 charges. 2 charges of mosaic. Where's the bloody recipe sheet? Oh, it's dropped down the back of there, yeah. So, I'm not going to do that. I've already changed the recipe with the yeast, and I've already changed the recipe by not having enough malt. So why not change the recipe again? Make my life a bit easier and just hit it with a dry hop, a singular dry hop. So we're going to just chuck in the rest of this mosaic. It's going to be a good, decent dry hopping. But this video isn't really about the amount or the recipe. This video is about using the snub nose through dry hopping. So we're at pressures. So we're under pressure, and I've got to get the lid off. Now I've seen videos by Dr. Hans where he was dry hopping under pressure, took the lid off, he had a big foam over, so I want to get away from that by releasing the pressure with the pressure relief valve, and then once I know I'm okay, I'll start undoing the lid so we don't get gushy, hopefully. That's the plan. It's a shame because the thing that I really liked about the snub nose when I watched the videos on Keg King is the fact that you can keep the closed transfer from fermenting beer through dry hopping and into a keg. Them like 3 steps can all be done with closed transfers. So if you had a second snub nose, then using the beverage line, bastard, using the beverage line, which doesn't come with the snub nose, you have to buy this separately or just get 2 beer out disconnects with some beverage line. You then attach this to the primary that's been fermenting, attach this to the secondary snub nose that you've added the hops to and purged. So now you've got hops in a second snub nose that's purged with CO2, and like you would do when racking into a keg, if you're racking into another snub nose, you would set the second snub nose a couple of PSI points lower and then rack the beer straight onto the dry hops. Everything's close transfer and everything's hunky-dory. But because I've only got one, I'm going to have to release the pressure, take the lid off, dump the dry hops in, put the lid back on, and then use the secondary reg on the Keyser to put 10 psi back into it and then leave her for 7 days. So we'll see how we get on with the foamage. See if we can release the pressures so we don't get it. Let's show you the snub nose before we dry up it. The 3rd day of fermentation, I noticed that she was looking finished. It's actually not taken long at all, and the pressure had dropped. So I was assuming that the beer had finished fermenting and there was no more CO2 being released, and instead CO2 was being absorbed into the beer, carbonated basically, and so we dropped pressures. Then I moved it to try and have a look what we were looking like at the bottom trub wise, and the movement has obviously disturbed the CO2 and which knocked us back up to 10 psi again, or close to 10 psi. So we need to release that pressure now and get the dry hops in. And I'm going to release the pressure. Smelling very nice. And in here there is close to 90 grams of mosaic that we're going to hit it with. So I'll get these ready. Oh, don't they look good, fella? They smell even better. So we are completely gas free or pressure free in here, I'm hoping. So I'm going to take the lid off and hopefully we don't get any gushy. So that's the collar off. I'm going to do this fairly quickly, so just bear with. Yeah, so that was fine. Right, in with the mosaic. Mosaic in. Seat the lid. The lid is seated. Get the collar ready. Collar back on. Easy as pie. No messing about. Fantastic. And now I have this regulator here, which is set to 10 psi roughly. I'm going to take that line, which is this one, and we're going to put in some more gas. So I'm going to take off the spunding valve and put on the gas. I'm going to purge it a little bit. Right, so now we've purged her. She's got CO2 back inside of her. Purged the oxygen out, which if we did get any in whilst we'd got the lid off. So I'll disconnect the gas again, chuck the spunding valve back on and we'll check the pressure. And we're already over pressure. So what it's doing now, you can hear that it's venting. It's automatically taking out the gas pressure that we don't want in there. So it's nice and easy. You don't have to worry about having too much in there if that is a worry, because the spunding valve is obviously going to set it to what it was before. But fermentation has done, and they recommend, from what I've heard, I am no expert in fermenting under pressure, but from what I've heard, from what I've read, between 10 and 15 psi. I think 15 psi is like the max. The sweet spot is around 10, 12, so I've heard. It smells pretty good though, as it was venting out. So that's it. Mosaic, dry hop for 7 days. I'm looking forward to getting beer back on tap again in here. It's been far too long. But as dry hopping goes, that was pretty effortless, no headaches to speak of, and I'm glad that I didn't have any gushing over any foamage. Just released all the pressure in there and we were fine. It's probably been easier than dry hopping in a bucket, because obviously you've got to crack the bucket lid, and then you've got a bit of a juggling act, because you don't want to take the whole lid off. I never really like taking the whole lid off, so then you have to have it like cracked a little bit and then try and get the hops in, whereas this was fine. I didn't have to worry about a great big lid because it's only a tiny lid in comparison to the bucket. But like I was saying, if I had got 2 of these, I could have done a closed transfer onto the dry hops, which is like the best thing with these, if you've got 2. But that's how we've dry hopped her. No problems, I didn't have any issues. I'm happy with that. I've managed to purge her again, fill her with CO2. So the next step after the 7 days, we're going to do a closed transfer into a keg, and that will be another first for me. I've never done anything like that. So you've seen it all for the first time. Look, bear in mind, I'm doing all this for the first time, and I'm finding it pretty easy so far, pretty nice to work with. So can't say any more than that. Anyway, guys, dry up is done, and that's it. So as always, don't forget to thumbs video in case you don't. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Click it all on that. Chat up to see. Until next time, I'm out of here.